Good afternoon, everybody. I'll call this meeting to order. And we're going to start with if everybody will stand, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance and our prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever, now and forever. Amen.
All right, number 2 on the agenda, we're going to open it up for public comments. I see we have one person signed up, Mr. Terrell.
All right.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you, Fred Terrell, down here in the city of Cleveland. Tonight I'm going to bring up 2 things, and neither one of them has to do with the EDC. It is a public forum, and I want to express my thoughts on this new scoop bond. I am totally against it. We're going to build an administration building at $50 million, and we're not getting our teachers and kids out of the portable buildings. That's my stand. We've been told that the administration building's been put on hold, but I guess that was just a smokescreen. Another issue I want to bring to your attention is our city streets are terrible. We got potholes. We put cold patch on it, and then those get another cold patch on it for long. It's like a rubber. The city has a chance to build it, to buy an asphalt zipper. It's a machine that will go down and take care and grind up the existing asphalt and the base, put it back down, it can be tamped and that, and then an asphalt top is put on top. And it's really up to the council to do this, but if you do, call your councilman and tell them something needs to be done about our streets. What we've been doing in the past didn't work. So again, if you get a chance, call your council person and please encourage them to think about something we need for their streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terrell.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
Very good items. Do we have any more for public comments? All right, we're going to move on to number 3, reports and comments from board members and staff. And you know what, we'll start over here, Mr. Patrick.
All right.
You got your notes, I know you're ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I want to explain to everybody, or how it's worded, that I really enjoyed myself at San Antonio. Those are 3 great days that we had. I enjoyed every minute of it. There's a lot of good information there. I like the one the best would be, well, the one where the guy that he asked someone for their cell phone, and he gave us a demonstration how he can tap into your cell phone.
Cybersecurity. Yeah, cybersecurity.
Yes, right, the security guy. And he could be anywhere in the area, and he can pull up your phone, and he can turn it on. He can turn the speaker on. We got to listen to somebody talking in conversation on their phone. Got to listen to, got to look at all their text messages, all their phone call records, everything off of that phone he was able to look up. Not only that, he could make a phone call off of their phone. Secondly, he was able to tap into somebody's laptop. While he was tapping into it, 29 others came in on his laptop that he was able to look into. There was one that was opened up, and he could turn on the camera, and he could look around and see what was in that area. Otherwise, he could listen to their conversations if they were talking with each other. He could turn their speaker on. He could look up their emails, and the person couldn't believe that they could do that and read off their emails. Everything possible was he was able to do in a matter of moments. Not only that, he could pick up the room full of phone calls that other people were making. And I asked him the question, could he possibly look in the television sets in the bedrooms? He refused to answer that. He kind of nodded and said that he could do that also. It was unbelievable.
They won't demonstrate that.
No, he wasn't going to demonstrate that, but it can be done. He can tap into the what you call that cord that you recharge your phone with. He said there is a small device inside that plug-in that he can tap into that and still get into your phone. He said there's many ways to do it that a lot of people don't know anything about it. He can get into your automobiles. He can tap into that. He can shut it down. He can do it. I said, I wish you'd know, let me know that, because my pickup got stolen here weeks ago. But anyway, all in all, that was what he talked about. It was unbelievable. I still ain't got it off of my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Ms. Michelle?
I liked, first of all of us getting to spend time and get to know each other better.
Yes.
I always like that part. But I enjoyed the Blue Dot, the technology that we can use for our EDC to help us stay in touch better, know what's going on quicker. And also there's the mapping technology that they have that we can use for our existing businesses and bring them in. I think that was probably part of my favorite part.
Great. Mr. Scott?
I kind of focused on, and it was a great trip, by the way. Astros won twice, so while we were there. But I pretty much focused on like the grants that we can get, federal grants, because in my understanding from Jennifer, that the city was looking at that Grant Works, one of the speakers, and we need a grant writer in every avenue here, because even if we had to participate with some of those grants, I mean, that's, if we can get them, that's free money. You know, it's much like our Rotary grant for the tables and the benches downtown. We got a grant through the Rotary Foundation of $3,000. So that's $3,000 free dollars. All we have to do is spend another $3,000.
Yeah, it's a match.
And we can get 4 or 5 tables for the city park, or not, let's don't call it a park, I guess. But anyhow, the grants and I'm talking about TERS and things like that for our growth down the road. That's what I focused on.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott. Ms. Davis?
Don't have anything today. I'm just listening to those that attended the conference.
Can't hear you.
Do not have anything today. Just listening to everyone speak about the conference.
Can't hear you.
What?
Turn it on.
It's on.
Get closer. It's okay.
You can't hear. Did you hear that?
I hear you.
I'm just listening to everyone speak about the things that they gleaned from the conference, and it sounds very interesting. Hopefully, there are some things that y'all got from the conference that you can bring back to the city of Cleveland and put it into action.
There you go. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Ms. Clay?
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Terrell for that information about that zipper, and I do agree with you. That is something that I think has been sort of asked for years ago. which was one of the items that we brought back from the, one of the TML conference. And attending these conferences, you always get a wealth of information that helps, but we have to follow through and utilize some of this stuff that we bring back. So I just want to thank you for that. And the cyber program, I attended also October, St. Philip College, and they have this security cyber program in their school with a lab and everything where there's, you know, can detect all these people that are trying to hack into their data information. I think that is, wow, very interesting. Another thing that I brought back from the TML was I talked to a gentleman about our gateway sign, in-text signs, and I gave that information to the Serenos. Hopefully we can go ahead and have him to come in and see what he can do to help us so we can move forward with the signs. I also talked to a Miss Alicia Cook, which is with Opportunity Strategies. And what she does is basically go around and have EDC corporations to help them to understand what they're supposed to do in the EDC organization, which I think that's good because a lot of things we don't know how to do. We just assume and sort of do it the way we want to or the way we think is best. But she is willing to also come and to do a presentation to help us out on it as well. And in one of the sessions, I was listening to, and this was mostly on the governor's side. And our job as the EDC is to market and promote our city. But the governor's office has the tools, the funds available to help us promote our city. And it's up to us to go to them to ask them for this information. So I think we just need to really work hard on doing the part that we're supposed to do, which actually will help us to do a better job at what we're doing. So I enjoyed it. I always enjoy conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Great points. Ms. Kelly?
Yes, I'm blessed to be here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Terrell. I'm disappointed in your opinion about the bond, especially being a city councilman. It's disheartening that a councilman is not in favor of supporting his local school. Very disappointing. I won't try to answer your questions on that. We'll talk about that another time on the central office being put on hold. Our attendance last Friday at CISD was 11,469. And then as far as the conference, I think what I really captured from that that really stood out to me was the grant, the information on the grants. And I think that my opinion, and I've said it before, that I don't know if it's we can't afford it, but if it's not something our city and EDC can look at maybe together to think about hiring someone full-time to be exclusively a grant writer, I think it would pay for itself. I think what really got my attention about that is when it was mentioned that you can get roads built with grants, and that really got my attention. And also the updating of our website. I think that's something we also need to think about on the EDC side, maybe updating our side at the website on that. And that's what I got out of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Mr. Reynolds?
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to make a point about the grant. That is something that the city council is looking into.
I was gonna
And we've been discussing that, yes, so we're really looking into that and trying to move forward with that. But I also, if I may, yes, thank you. If I may, another program that was mentioned at the conference was a 313 program, which allows the city, which allows the public school districts to, after taxes, to do incentives for business that invest in their community. So I thought, I'm not sure if you already know about that program, but I think that's a great program as well we can look into.
Terrific.
Yeah, I want to kind of comment on the grants. I mean, I'm gonna comment on 2 or 3 things, but the grants, when I was interim city manager for that period of time, that's one thing I did start working on. And council was well aware of that, and, then I'm gonna introduce Scott in a second. But, it's kind of passed over to him, and we are going through the council. We gotta go through a scoring committee, but we've got selection of grant writers to get us a grant writer. So, I mean, it's really looking good that we're gonna have what y'all are asking for. So that's in the working process. It will happen through this scoring of committee. On the, cyber, the phones that Patrick was talking about, I won't comment on that. What's one thing that makes me about that? That guy, what Patrick was talking about, it was from a phone that was turned off. He had this lady turn her phone off, and he got into it, used the camera, and did like with the phone being off. I mean, I thought that was really, I mean, that's amazing. So, but anyway, and the mapping of everything, right, there's things that looks good, we need to do those. But yeah, y'all got good comments and these things that we are working on, and especially the grant, that's gonna be something good for us. And Mr. Swagger, I don't know if all the board has met you. I'd like for you to come up and introduce yourself. And, we have a, new city manager, and I'll let him introduce himself.
I guess I'll stand here. My name is Scott Swagger, so I'm the new city manager for the city of Cleveland, and been here, this is my third Monday, so starting week 3, so glad to be here. I have had a chance to meet a few of you, but hopefully get to be able to work with y'all and participate with you. I'm glad you had a good conference. I always like going to conferences myself because you do gain so much information, so much knowledge, and the contacts that you make, and all the new and updated information, and all the games and the whistles and all the neat things that you can see there. But there's a lot of tools that you have, a lot of resources that we can have, especially for EDC. So I'm glad that y'all had the conference. I'm glad that y'all had a good time. I am scared of what you were saying about the phone. That's kind of scary of what they can do. I know cybersecurity is a main issue. It's been a big issue. A lot of that is what, just what we can do. It's a user can control a lot of it, but when this phone's off, and accessible, they can still get in. That's pretty scary. But anyway, glad to be here. Glad to be a part of this. I'd like to spend some time with each of you to get to know you more. I'm going to participate in some of the meetings and so forth, just so we can be involved. And so look forward to working with you as well as the council gets to work with you as we try to continue to grow and control that growth in Cleveland. Because that's the important part. We just don't want to grow. We want to make sure we grow correctly and the best for our community. And that is involved with everybody, whether it's the council, EDC, the school board, the county. We all got to work together and have that unified vision as we go forward to make Cleveland grow the way we want it to grow and prosper the way we want it to prosper. So I look forward to working with each of you, and thank you for being here tonight.
Excellent. Welcome, Mr. Smith.
I'm sorry, if I can say one other thing, I'm sorry, because that was a lot of stuff that was covered there. And I thought this was very interesting. They were talking about the site consultant, and they were talking about the sites that you have available that you want to develop. And they were saying to make sure your sites are ready. You want them ready. You don't want them just sitting there and not ready when you have a buyer or a developer coming in, to have those sites ready. So I thought that was very important. Whatever you need, whether it's culverts or any type of infrastructure, they mentioned to have that ready. And another thing they mentioned, which is also something that we've been working on, was the website. They said the better your website is, the better you market your city. And that's been one of my pet peeves, the website. Because when someone is looking at your city, they want to know what you have available. I just wanted to make it part.
You almost stole my part.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Jennifer, you have anything? All right, well, I just want to echo what everybody said. I thought the conference was great. I thought it was a good time for everybody. everybody learned a lot. But, you know, when I go to a conference like that, you know, you want to look around to see, because they had the awards for the different EDCs that won throughout the state, various sizes. And you know, you look at what makes other EDCs and other entities successful. Well, there was just some common themes and common trends that I absolutely am 100% on board with. We have to get there. And the website's a big one. Visibility, you know, the availability of data and analytical data as we grow our cities is, I think, imperative as we go forward. So there's some great programs in there. And you hit on it, Michelle, a lot with some of the mapping, with some of the Blue Dot technology when it comes to building your city's infrastructure from a digital aspect. I think we're behind on that. I think that when you look at other EDCs and how they get different people's attention, I think it's website driven. I think it's data driven. I think everything's in the visual there. So I think as we go forward, I think that needs to be something that we really look at. Better information, better data, better tracking. This just helps you kind of get over that next step. It's what a lot of other people are doing. They've seen resounding success. And Scott, I think it was you that mentioned that with the things that we already know that we have coming, there's no reason in the world why we can't be up on that dais next year. So I think that's the way we have to think. I think that's the way we put some of this into effect. Like Ms. Clay was saying, it's great to go get all these ideas, but you know, you got to put some teeth behind it and really dig into it. Make it work. So I want to thank everybody for y'all's participation last week. I really enjoyed it. I thought we all took something out of it. I see that a lot of y'all even brought all your packets from the data that we picked up last week, so I just thought it was great. So thank you. Anybody else?
Just one other thing. Just remember, we're competing against everybody that's there. I mean, we really are.
Yeah,
And as BNSF, they have 6 or 7 governor's letters on businesses that might want to come this direction. But they're competing against everybody that was in that building for that same job or that same business. So we have to be competitive. Is what we got to do.
And that's where our exposure, our visibility, the data that's available to our own community is deficient. You know, I mean, and that's the stuff that we have to work towards. So people in our own community are aware of what EDC can do to help them grow their business. And again, this has a domino effect. That data getting out there, it's what attracts new business. It also helps build current business.
They're helping us already.
So, yeah, thank you for that. All right. Number 4, monthly business prospect report, EDC project updates by EDC Director, Mr. Robert.
Y'all have these, and I'll ask if y'all have any comments. I mean, I go down here with a list of everything that's been going on. The biggest thing we got going on, and y'all do know, is that BNSF, and y'all were able to join in on the general BNSF in San Antonio. I thought that was really good. That way gave y'all a little more insight to what's happening there. And like Scott said, yes, ever since this thing started, the stuff that comes in from the governor's office, Gary LaFoon and I have been staying on top of those. He gets every one of those, and he informed me where they are and what's happening on that and on the customers that they're looking at and talking about. And he has a lot of good clients. You know, until it's time to pull the trigger, I mean, I don't know their names until they're ready to release that. But I do know they're looking at, you know, major companies and building major sized buildings out there. We're talking buildings could be 100,000 to 400,000 square foot buildings. Those are pretty huge. But, you know, you can't say anything there. I mean, they won't feed the clients' names until that happens. The good news is the CVS building has been sitting empty. I kind of mentioned that we may be having someone move into that. Well, they did sign right before we went to San Antonio. I met with them the Friday prior to that, and they have closed on that building. They're gonna start working on that building, they're gonna move into CVS and be Ace Hardware. It's gonna be M&D Supplies. This will be their 9th store that they have, so. And they want to be open about mid-February, so they're gonna get aggressive on that.
So no pet shop,
Sir?
no pet grooming shop that you said earlier?
No.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you was wanting the pet store?
Yeah, I done told everybody. They said it was gonna be at Ace Hardware.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Had to
So,
give a gig you.
yeah. And they got, what they have in their store lines is pretty good, so I think it'd be good for Cleveland.
Yes.
Whitewater's still waiting on their power from energy, that's why they're not open, they're just waiting on energy to set the trend for them. And, you know, I talked to Zakira, the lady that owns the property next to Whataburger, they are still talking to this company, the Denny's that they're wanting there. They're still in negotiation on that. I mean, that's taking them a while, but that's still in makings. Huddle House, I talked with David Nimitz out there, the McKinley Group, they still don't have anybody that's looking at that building as of yet. They've had 2 or 3 people, other Huddle people, different ones, look at it, and then they back off. But anyway, talking to this I can tell you, but I can't give you a lot of information, was a doctor that's looking at building kind of a hospital here. We've had a couple meetings, and he has his designer and planner drawing his design and planning up at that, so that looks pretty promising. So, and William Tamiga with Burger Works, William still with David Wise, and Streetwise, and Scott knows who this guy is. Has not anybody pulled a trigger on his site. He said he may have to find another realtor on that, but anyway, so. Any questions?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
There's nothing to be approved, it's just discussion.
You have 5, 12, and 6 listed.
No, we're moving there, we just haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You're just ahead of your time, Patrick.
I take it back.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Now, moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion that we approve number 5 and number 6, minutes from September 12th and September 26th EDC meetings, along with approving of the monthly bills? You want to renew your?
Yes, I'm making the motion we renew the consent agenda. Thank you.
Do we
I
have a
was
second?
looking for something
I'll
else.
second.
Second from Scott. All those in favor, right hand. Any opposed? No. All right, thank you. All right, discussion and action. Number 7, discussion of 2023 Allies Day event or alternative event to promote economic growth in Cleveland. I know that a few of us were talking about the potential of doing something a little bit different this next year, or taking that money and utilizing it in a different way, or continuing with Allies Day as we did in this year in 2022. I think between this meeting and next meeting in December, we've got to pretty much be decided on which direction we want to go, because it's going to be coming quick. So I don't know if anybody has anything they want to throw out right now about pros or cons of how we want to see that event. Because again, we have a certain amount of funds that are allocated for business, for developing business, but we can do a few different things.
I do,
Yes.
if I may, Mr. President. I have attended the Allies Day several times. Probably one that I realized before we did the Shop International was pretty huge. But after that, they haven't been that overwhelming. So this is something I was thinking of. It's just a thought for me. I think maybe we could do something focusing on some of the existing business here in town. And this is just something I was looking at, I noticed the new car wash that we have. And right next to that, right there on Washington, and right next to that is a little insurance or something, but it's a nice little building. And right next to that is Dairy Queen. So with those two buildings there, I was thinking possibly maybe speaking to them to see what it is that we can do to help them, maybe to help sort of smooch their building up, whether it's parking lot stripes or paint. I don't know if it's a corporate-owned restaurant or not, but just make that contact and sort of try to help the buildings that are not so appealing and sort of focus on that. We can give it a name, basically, and just sort of reach out to other businesses, but to help, whether it's cutting grass, doing the curb appeal, and just start from there and just create a name or something. I haven't thought of a name, but it's just something that I think that if we can do to help as an EDC or corporation, I think we should try to think of something else.
You're actually the second person, I think it was Michelle, that actually had the exact same thought of, do we want to do something that basically just is geared more towards our current businesses
Show appreciation to
and
them.
appreciation of their
Yes.
business.
And what they've done, and I think by word of mouth, it would get the businesses talking to other people, say, you should come, our city is doing this for us, and make us more appealing,
Yes.
just by word of mouth that way.
Even though we know we want new businesses to come in, but I really feel like we need to acknowledge and embrace the mom and pops that are here. And I'm gonna mention Hart's Chicken. During the pandemic, and even now, you're gonna always get a hot meal. They don't give you nothing stale. It's always hot. It's always fresh, and they're always real kind. And customer service is so important. So I just feel like these people need to be acknowledged.
Appreciate it.
Yes, appreciate it, yes.
And it's an opportunity for us as the EDC to educate them on what programs they can get involved in.
Right,
Because so many of those businesses don't know.
yes.
And you know, like even Jennifer pulled something up this weekend on the state EDC webpage, but it had all the grants, all the information that they could sign up for right there on their EDC page, and there was a committee that would go over all of it. They fill it out online to make it easy for them. So if we can get all that updated, help the businesses look better, more appealing for people coming into our city too, let's just take care of them and show appreciation.
It would be great to usher in an era of partnership
Yes.
between us and our businesses.
Yes,
All that.
we
Yes.
rely on businesses, that's the whole, they want employment, so we need to take care of them.
And this
They're
goes
taken
back-
care of.
Goes back to the data and making sure people are informed and, hey, where do we get this? I think we have a lot of opportunity there.
And that would be a good opportunity to do a banquet or something, or something, not necessarily a banquet, but something for those businesses, and invite them in. We want to put this information on this webpage for the mapping, no cost to you, and just get the basic information, and it helps them as much as it will us.
That's right.
And maybe even recognizing the businesses that have been here for generations after generations, like Cleveland Jewelers, for example.
Exactly. It's just like in San Antonio, everywhere we went, oh my God, it's been here since
Yes.
1913, or, you know, that means a lot
Mhm.
to the community to see how long it's been here.
There aren't that many that have been here that long, and that's just one that stood out to me, that really we should be,
Yeah.
they are very much appreciated. If anything, we should be recognizing that.
And it's kind of like Mr. Swagger said, the growth is coming. You know, I mean, we want to make sure that the businesses that are here in town are healthy, prosperous, that as more growth comes to our area, there's actually a platform to build off of for new business. That it's established, that's known. So I tell you what, so as far as on this action item, those are two great points. Maybe we put this back on the agenda for our next meeting and come with maybe some ideas of this, or this, and maybe we can just decide on it.
Get in touch with some of those companies, the technology companies
So are we thinking, I don't think this requires a vote right now, but kind of thinking that's the line we want to go down for how we see the event?
Yes,
Everybody's agreed there?
yeah, I agree.
We can also look at our facade program.
I think that's a great program
Yeah.
that nobody knows about. And again, because it goes back to what's visible.
Right.
You know, I love it, I looked at the page you sent over from Dayton, I mean, the fact that you can go on a thing and say, hey, here's what we can offer your business, here's your responsibility, here's what we can do to help with that.
Yep.
We gotta get to
We gotta
that
get
point.
there.
And it's there for us to do,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, this is absolutely doable. All right.
Mr. President, just to add to that though, we have to do it.
Yes.
We can't just keep talking about it because this is something that has been discussed, so we have to move forward with it,
That's right.
and put it out there in black and white.
I agree. Go ahead, Ms. Davis.
No, yes, I know you're going to put it out there, but what about a small committee, coming back from throwback, called business retention? You visit these mom and pop places that have been here forever, and just introduce yourself. This is who we are, this is what we have, what is it that we can do for you? How is it that we can help you? And that way, firsthand, they will tell you, not only that, but you can go inside, they will show you different things, how many employees, what is your turnover like, or you having to hire and rehire every 3-4 months, things like that.
And that's part of one of the programs that we looked at, one of the systems that we looked at there, is exactly that type of information to where you can build a database of your city.
Right.
What businesses are here, what types of businesses are those, what's their head count look like, you can really kind of get a sense of what's here in Cleveland, what programs are gonna matter most to your clientele, what we need to look at to build.
Yes.
For example, if we had 13, if you did this and you realize you have 13 businesses that are all in one category, well, that's probably not exactly the thing you want to be going after. You may see that we only have 1 or 2 of these other types of businesses. But there's a lot to be gained with better information. I think that's going to help us tremendously.
Well.
So I don't think we need a motion. We'll just put this on the next agenda. There's no action. All right, any other comments on number 7?
No.
All right, we're looking forward to what, I think we'll have some good discussion on that at our next meeting and get that decided and moved on. Number 8, discussion and possible action on current and future EDC projects and goals. I think we hit a lot of the stuff that we saw in the EDC. And so a lot of that's going to be over the next, about how we get this put in place. Probably going to talk to some of those companies, come talk to us about pitching their programs, so we can make some informed decisions on that. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up on item 8?
No, sir. No, sir.
I think one thing we need to do, in talking with the BNSF, when they go after these companies, you remember, they talked about, they weren't aware of incentives and things that we could give. So I think we do like a 1-page in some incentives. We'd have to get with the city council on that, but come up with just a, I don't know, points of reference and who to contact for those to send off, because what they do is they get these packages in and then they respond with a dissertation trying to answer all of these. I don't know if y'all have seen those letters or not, but there's qualifications that these companies want. They either want a 100,000 square foot building already built. They want 10 acres, they have employees, they employ 1,500 people. There's all these things that they list, and some of them are incentives. And so if we just do a little one page and point out the incentives that we have available, even with the county, for God's sakes, you know? So the county's willing, depending on the jobs, that's what we're about, right? EDC, so if they create jobs, we'll give incentives. And I don't want to get into, I heard somebody from the city say, well, why do we have to give that? They're just going to come anyhow. That's not true. That's not true. So if we just list the incentives that they could come after and a contact person.
And that might be sort of hard to do, just to pinpoint, because it all depends on what type of business it is. So that might be sort of hard to just pinpoint what incentives you have for a certain company.
Yeah, it depends, it really depends, but here's, you know, tax abatements. I don't know.
But I think the point with the contact person and who you go to for what needs you might have
Exactly.
is very key. I think that goes straight back into what we've all been talking about, just better information, easier found information, and how we get people asking the questions.
Yeah, and they can send that in that package. So we have, okay, this Cleveland, I mean, all we have to do is put the Cleveland EDC our city council logo up there, or the city's logo on there, and be done with it. You know, but at least we're proactive instead of just sitting back waiting on somebody to come in.
Yeah, and I think everybody up there agree with the proactiveness of this, to get moving on this stuff. All right, excellent. All right, number 9, discussion and possible action on Texan Theater mural project. First of all, I want to thank those of you that actually met with Mr. Pendleton and got the design approved. How are you, sir?
I'm great, thank y'all, and thank you, Michelle, Kelly, and Marilyn. Y'all were very prompt, and I think we ended up with great changes, and I left y'all pictures, the revised drawing from Sherry Meeks, the artist, along with her invoice. Her invoice does include the insurance and the special items to take care of Mrs. Kitchen's building, the safety items, so that's all included. But I like what we ended up with. I think it definitely pops way better than the prior drawings. It's less cluttered than the one we started with, that we used as our base, and looks good. I think it's going to make a great statement.
Clean.
It is. It is. Patrick was fixing to say something.
Yeah, I was making sure you were completed. I'm all for it. I think this is a great improvement, and I'm ready to make a vote now.
Did it?
So, I make a motion.
Yeah, you want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we consider the vote.
I'll second this. We have a motion and a second to approve the Texan Theater mural project as written. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will get started. Cherry will be very happy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We are too. And thank you, Michelle and Kelly and Ms. Marilyn.
Yes.
Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, number 10, 10, discussion and possible action on our gateway sign project.
Do we have copies to look at?
No, we don't, because we don't have gateway signs. Going back, a couple of years ago, we have $100,000 budget for a gateway sign. And that we're gonna put it there each way, and that's being like 59 north, 59 south. We got the old one at 59 south, and that one needs some work, it needs lighting, and that one has light problems. That one, we need to get started with that one, try and get the electrical working on that one. Get our flags back up, get that, because this coming year soon, I mean, they've almost got that finished. They got the feeder, so you're going by there. So we need to look at getting that going. Like Ms. Clay said, she mentioned, Jake Crumley. He does gateway signs, and him and I have talked. We were gonna meet this week, and he sent me an email. We talked today. He's came back from where he was at. His kids have strep throat. There's all, all the kids come, they're sick. So he's gonna get in touch with me Friday and see if we can schedule what day to meet. But that one we need to look at and talk about, get started, and start seeing what we can't build. Because that sign at the south end of town, that could be a $200,000 sign. But coming in, say, from 105 east, coming in headed west, out at Grand Oaks, a little smaller gateway signs. Now that we have all the BNSF 105 coming in from the west, we need a gateway sign out there for sure. But we need to figure out, let's get started, but let's start working with electric, get this old one working. And then start working, get 2 or 3 of them, start working on what we're going to do on signs.
I think wouldn't it be in our best interest to get a couple, 3 different companies to give us some specs, some
We will,
examples?
we'll have to,
You know,
we need to
let's-
get some ideas what we want our signs to do.
Is there electrical down at that old sign?
Yeah, but but it has a lot of problems, because Henderson, I talked to Greg, and they've reworked it 2 or 3 times, so, and had some serious problems, so may have to just,
As
from where.
as open as that is down there, I'm not so sure I would go with solar, those solar lights. Really? You think about that. That piece of property is wide open.
Well, even if you furnish power down there, you need to go with LED lights. That is much brighter. And just put some bigger units and let's just go ahead and get after it and make it happen. You know, that is the south side and that's the incoming traffic. And they're seeing that if it's getting close to being completed, let's do that and then follow up on the second one and the third one. And let's do what it takes, and if it has to go into next year, put it in the budget.
And I think we need to absolutely get forward motion, and I agree with you, I think they do need to be LEDs, whether solar or electric power,
Yeah.
right, and make that sign pop. We already have it in the budget, that can.
Because energy, I mentioned to you that LED is by far your best. If they put lights similar to what they're putting out on the streets, that'll brighten it up. The hardest part that we'll have to choose from is which lights we need, you know?
Right.
Either tone it down or brighten it up.
So is that something you can reach out to Mr. Henderson again, if you want to go with him, and we'll see about switching those out?
But let's get that one going, what I suggest, and then some of us can get together, 2 or 3 y'all want to get with me. And,
2 or 3 what?
Hey,
Oh.
okay. Michelle and Mary, Michael B. Okay. There you go.
You want one, Joe? If y'all want another one, I'll be happy to go.
Okay. As far as we can go. Can't go over 3.
All right, number 11, discussion and possible action on a courtesy car for the Cleveland Municipal Airport. Did you get a chance to talk any with the city on what some of those alternatives were?
I did. I spoke with Mr. Broussard. That's another thing. We used to have a courtesy car out there that got pulled. Actually, our new public works guy got that vehicle, but it got pulled right back. There's been budgeted $20,000 for this vehicle. Being it got pulled, and I spoke to Mr. Broussard because he hasn't budgeted vehicles. But once he has come and he said he needs those and he won't have extras. So, and he's not gonna get him one. Cause he was talking about if he got one, that we could have his. But Mr. Broussard said he'd rather his officers get these new vehicles and him keep getting by. But we have $20,000, we start shopping for a vehicle and buy one.
You wanna get some bids for some vehicles and let's put this on the thing for
Yeah, yeah, but what I'm also gonna do, I'm gonna talk to our local dealerships and see if some of them would be wanting to get involved in this. And if they would help participate in it.
we can put that
Not
in.
to say we're gonna go spend $20,000. What if they say, hey, I have one, I'll get it.
Sure.
I mean,
They do that for tax
You
purposes.
get a
They
nice-
donate all that.
I mean, on a vehicle at the airport, we don't have to have one, it's really luxury. Some airports, the passenger window might not even roll down, or the back door might not even run the lock. So, but, I mean, but I'm just kidding. We
No, I
have-
don't
we
think we
have-
want that.
I-
We're talking about growth and, I don't know if
we had a nice vehicle out there. And I'll have to say, Miss Clay and Mr. Terrell, we all worked on getting that one out there. And we had a nice one out there. And yes,
What
we
happened
do.
to it?
It came back to the city. So,
we
Or
have,
was it purchased by EDC?
no, it was a city vehicle, but we got it, the city
Can't
gave it.
argue that then.
But
well, this is,
we're gonna move on and just get a vehicle.
yeah,
Sounds
we
good.
have it in the deal, let's talk to the local dealerships
Done.
Let's do it.
and we can move on that.
And I said to the city, Scott, you got any money? Oh, that's right, we just went through budget, you just came, so I'm sorry.
All right, number 12, closed executive session. I don't believe we have anything in the
No,
closed session. No action to be taken from said. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn, please, sir.
Second?
I'm missing.
Second from Ms. Michelle, all in
I
favor?
was just trying to second your motion.
Y'all enjoy your evening.
You're not missing the Astros.
No.
I'm missing
Go
a bachelor.
Astros, go.
I'm missing a bachelor.
They were the first World